Dalglish is in here. Yes!
Change pace through the centre. It's Bergkamp. That's magnificent.
If you want to buy cheap Ultimate Team coins, go and check out MMOPO.com and use the discount code EGHD at the checkout to get yourself 8% off your order. Hi guys, welcome back to the Icon Swaps free review kind of series that we've got going on here. I know you guys have really enjoyed it so far. The videos have done pretty well and the comments have been great. So today we are going to be comparing Bergkamp Prime Moments versus Dalglish's middle icon cards. One's got 5-star weak foot, one's got 4-star, 4-star. Some amazing stats on the line here, but which player is actually better because you can only complete one of these with only 24 tokens up for grabs. Before we get into the video guys, if you could drop a like on the video, that'd be greatly appreciated. Also make sure you subscribe to see more of these icon comparisons in the future. We've got some more to do as well. These videos do take me some time to put together, which is why it's taken me a few weeks to make this video. Obviously I could do these reviews really quickly by just buying a Bergkamp, playing 2 games with him and then saying, oh, you know, he's pretty good. But I like to put a lot of thought into these videos and go into more depth on the players and which one is actually best to pick for you. So the squad we're going to be using today obviously has Bergkamp Dalglish in it. We've got Lucas Moura, Team of the Week Moments, and Cruyff as well in the attack, but we're going to try to focus it around Bergkamp and Dalglish. We've also got Cannavaro and Maldini, which we will get into in the future video comparing those two. But if we take a quick look at Bergkamp, I've decided to go for an engine chem style. I think it suits him best since he's pretty much maxed out there on his shooting, and he does lack a little bit of pace. He's not slow, but he lacks a little bit of pace. His passing's already amazing, but obviously to get plus 10 balance, you need to use that engine chem style. For his traits, he has the finesse shot, flair, outside the foot shot, and also the chip shot trait. So pretty much everything you need as an attacker in this game. For Dalglish, we've decided to go for a hunter chem style to boost his shot power by plus 10, to boost his pace as much as possible, because his agility, balance, and generally his dribbling is very good already. So that's why we've gone for that one. The traits he has is the flair as well. He also has the outside the foot shot, although it's not as important for a 5-star weak foot player. It still does come into play sometimes. He also has the long shot taker, technical dribbler, leadership, and team player traits. Now the way I'm going to be using this team is going to be with Dalglish and Bergkamp as my strikers. I do have a 4-2-3-1 set up, but I actually didn't use it at all in about 13 or 14 Foot Champs games that I've got in the gameplay today. We use 4-4-2 with those two as the strikers getting behind, and also 4-3-1-2, which is very attacking. I've got my left backs and right backs getting forward. Cruyff stay forward. It's very, very attacking. Before we get into the gameplay, I want to dive into some of the things that really stood out to me about these cards. So Dalglish, for me, he looked like he has some average passing stats, nothing too weak, but in comparison to Bergkamp, it is weaker. 80 vision, 85 short passing. He has quite average stamina as well at 81. He's got 4-star skills and 5-star weak foot. He's got the outside the foot shot and flair, which is good to have. He's got very good agility and balance, and his shooting's also pretty decent too, with 91 finishing and 87 shot power before the boost comes in with the hunter chem style. Bergkamp, on the other hand, has pretty much max shooting, as we've already mentioned. 98 finishing, 97 power, and also 99 volleys, which is an important stat to have, especially if you do a lot of the double tap or bounce passes or through balls. Average stamina, again, slightly more than Dalglish. He has different work rates, so maybe this is actually a little bit better to have as well. 4-star weak foot and skills, so he doesn't have the 5-star weak foot. He has great passing, and that is before the engine chem style. Average agility and balance, 84 agility, 85 balance, and then he also has all the best shooting traits you could ask for. Now for the gameplay guys, as I already mentioned, I was doing this in Foot Champions, so all the games are in Foot Champions, which means we're going to play some people that really want to beat me, but also at the same time these are the first games of my weekend league, so we will come up against some pretty weak players. But we started off great here with Bergkamp. I was actually trying out Dalglish's dribbling, just seeing what his ball control's like, just generally getting a good feel for him. Doesn't quite deliver there on the volley, but obviously this is just the first game, just trying to get that feel. And you can see there, I played a pass there quite off balance there with Bergkamp's weak foot. Couldn't quite get the ball under control there with Dalglish though. So just basically learning the ropes with these players. You're going to see the first game all the way to the last game, so you're going to see just my development using these players as well, because no matter what happens, you could have used a play that's similar to Dalglish for example, Ben Yedder, Player of the Month, or any of his inform cards, or even his meta card, his 83 rated gold card, has a lot of similarities to the likes of Dalglish. But whenever you use a new player, you can, there's things to learn about them, the way that they control the ball, the way they can take on certain shots better than others, and that's what I was really getting to grips with. But straight away I realised, and that was the point I realised with Bergkamp, how good his shooting was. There, for example, with Dalglish, we stopped, got a good position there. It looked like I shot near post, but I'm telling you right now, I actually shot far post, but he just couldn't hit that angle. Another one there, just not quite delivering. 5-star week for this guy. I think his defending just went to pot after a while. I think obviously the foot champs games, the emotions were getting to him, and he started to go in for tackles very aggressively, and it was quite simple to score goals. But again, got through here 3-0. I thought, you know what, rather than going near post and using the outside the foot shot, which is going to go in like 95% of the time with that about Bergkamp here, I decided to shoot across the goal, and he scored. I was like, damn, like this card so far is looking fire. Dalglish there getting through just a simple sweat goal. But at the same time, guys, sometimes you might notice that I don't sweat to certain players. Like, for example, here I could have sweat to Dalglish, but I noticed that his centre-back dropped back to stop that. So if there's an opportunity to take the goalkeeper on, I'm just going to do it. And even though I did mention at the start of the video, Bergkamp is one of my all-time favourite players in real life, I promise you, I'm not trying to make one player look better than the other. Bergkamp just played insane. Chip shot there coming into play, so he does have the chip shot trait. Now, I've read that if it says CPU only or anything about the CPU on a trait, that it only accounts for like squad battles or when the CPU are using those players. But every time that I use somebody that has a chip shot trait, I notice that when the goalkeeper comes out, they seem to get more height on their chip shot, which makes it harder, obviously, for the goalkeeper to kind of flail at the ball and stop it going past them. So, and here's another great example of the dribbling there. I think the engine chem style is key for Bergkamp, because obviously the weakness of his card is the agility and balance, and that gives the biggest boost to his balance, which is +10, and I think he gets +5 to his agility. And even though his agility and balance, you could feel, it was probably just as good as Dalglish's, but different. So Dalglish is a very small player. The way that he turns and moves, like Ben Yedder, as we already mentioned, or similar to kind of like Messi. Messi's quite unique in this game. He's always going to be better than pretty much most people in this game at dribbling. That's his key thing. Whereas Bergkamp, although he can, control the ball well, there were times where he has quite a big body. He's quite a tall player with those high dribbling stats, and but because of the boost, it still feels amazing. And we were getting off to a great start. I don't know if we're on game 3 or 4 in the Foot Champions games so far, but we're scoring big amounts of goals in all of these games. You can see here what I noticed about Bergkamp is he has this ability to just hold the ball. There's like I don't know what you'd call it. Some people call it like a glitch, almost like where you could be tackled, but then I don't know if it's high reactions. I don't know if it's to do with strength, but he just gets the ball back, and here, that is beautiful. I remember scoring that and just like, that's going to go straight into the replays. That looks just beautiful. I know pretty much anybody with 4-star skills there can do that skill move, but once you pull that off at the right time and you've got a good position to shoot, when you've got Bergkamp with 99 volleys and pretty much, I think it's either 98 or 97 finishing, you know that's going to go in most of the time, and that's the exact play that you want. Whereas with Dalglish, most of the time it will go in, but you've got a better chance with Bergkamp. 99 volleys is such a key stat. As I said already at the start of the video, if you're someone that has started to adapt to the FIFA 20 meta, being able to double tap pass or double tap through ball, then Bergkamp is going to be your man. You'll see a few times actually, even with Dalglish, with some average passing, he still manages to pull off that double tap pass to Bergkamp. And here I think outside the box there, finesse shots. So the finesse shot coming into play, and I've used Raul quite a lot, Prime Icon Raul, and now he has the finesse shot, but he doesn't have the outside the boot shot. And what happens with the finesse shot, you do get this, it's almost like an added amount of curve onto your shots. I don't know how it works, like I don't know the actual coding, like how much extra boost you get, but for sure, being able to shoot outside the box like that, you have to have something like a finesse shot, or just have a great position to do so. Lovely movement for Bergkamp. I don't score on this opportunity because ter Stegen's so good. He come out to block that shot straight away, but he saw how Bergkamp controlled the ball and just kept moving at his basically top speed. So although some people will look at the Bergkamp card before using him and say, I'm not sure I'm going to like his dribbling, there are times where Dalglish probably would have not even controlled the ball or dribbled with the ball as well. So it's a different style of dribbling that Bergkamp has over Dalglish. And this is a very, I'm going to say strange, but this is an interesting clip. So if we pause the clip here, let me ask you a question. Bergkamp's weak foot, volley, awkward position, player in front of him. Is he going to score it? Yes, he is. And I think this was at the moment, I think 6 or 7 games into Weekend League, I knew exactly what my review was going to be like. I was thinking it's going to look like I'm biased towards Bergkamp because Bergkamp's scoring so many of these goals. But I promise you, I'm looking for Dalglish. You see there, I probably could have tried to play Bergkamp earlier, but I am looking for both players equally. Whichever player makes the run, it's FUT champions at the end of the day. So I'm just trying to win my game. So a lot of the games when I go 2 or 3 up, I start to look for the players more to get as much game time with these players. And it was a nice finish there from Dalglish. But yeah, I'm trying to get equal clips, and here even just threading through Lucas. I think that was probably the only goal Lucas scored because I was just forcing play through these two, and there's another example of the bounce pass. Now when it comes to bounce passing, guys, if anybody knows, do you use the long passing stat? Because that you would think would be the long passing stat, wouldn't you? Because long passing stat is basically, used to be called, I think, is it long ball or air ball or something? I don't know. Either way, they can both play it very well. Bergkamp slightly better. And here is a great example of what I mean by when Bergkamp has the ability to do these power drives. So what I mean by power drive, it's like you can take the ball and run in a direction where you know you're going to go shoulder to shoulder with an opponent. And even though you feel like you might get tackled or the opponent might be able to get a foot on the ball, there's also a high possibility that Bergkamp's still going to come away with the ball. I don't know if that's because of his high strength. I think he has high 70s or even low 80s. Let me just check. 79 strength he has. But I think it's also to do with the reactions. So he has 98 reactions. So whenever a tackle goes in and it's not a clean tackle, Bergkamp's just going to snap onto the ball and continue dribbling with the ball. And that is something that Dalglish doesn't have. Dalglish has 94 reactions. It's still a high amount of reactions. But Bergkamp pulls off these glitchy scenarios a lot more, and he's a lot more simple to use from my experience so far. Anyway, Cruyff getting through there though, and finishing with his 5-star weak foot is actually quite difficult at times, especially as I played Cruyff and Dalglish as a cam and a striker. It's quite difficult at times to notice who's who because they both have kind of like a similar appearance on the ball. I think Dalglish has slightly lighter coloured hair, but nice finish there from outside the box. I think Dalglish does have the long distance or long shot trait, but I don't really know if that applies to normal online gameplay. I think that might be to do with just offline or just CPU related stuff, but either way, he has great shooting ability. There's still one tasty goal left of Dalglish. We're going to get to it in just a second. Nice movement from Bergkamp. If you actually rewind the clip there, if you can be bothered, Bergkamp, with bad positioning, he would have run in to try and get in behind David Luiz, but he noticed instantly he needs to offer support. He needs to offer support for Dalglish. He come back, took the pass on. Dalglish got into the right position, so both have great position there, and that is why they both scored. And here is a tasty goal. Nice flick up for Dalglish. Bang, bang, boom, off the crossbar with his weak foot on a volley. So realistically for both players, you can't say that either of them are bad at finishing, but I would say, well, we're going to get into the review in a second, so I don't want to spoil it, but even here, Dalglish, not very strong player. I think that's Van Dijk he knocks over and actually scores. So to conclude this review, 90 rated Dalglish. If we actually just have a look at the cards, he's obviously Scottish icon. He can link with everybody, but he's going to get strong links with Scottish players. Now, to be honest, there's not really many Scottish players to get strong links with in this game. Obviously, compared to Bergkamp, he's Dutch, so he's going to have better links there for potential end game teams that you might have. Maybe you guys have an untradeable Dutch player that you really want to use, but he overall has better dribbling. Obviously, we did mention it's different type of dribbling to Bergkamp, but for example, the quick drag backs that Ben Yedder has and Messi has, he's better at that kind of dribbling. He has average stamina, I think it was 81, and he has 5-star weak foot, which is obviously a pro, and average passing, although I didn't feel like it hindered me. There weren't really times where I thought, I mean, maybe a couple of times where I thought, you know what, if Bergkamp was in that position, maybe the through ball would have come off just slightly more accurately. It wouldn't have gone behind a player. But on FIFA 20, no matter what passing you have, sometimes it's just broken. And what I'd say is for 16 tokens, you can't really go wrong. For 16 tokens, this is a fair price. I wouldn't, you know, if someone picked a Dalglish, I wouldn't be thinking, why didn't you pick Bergkamp? He suits a lot of teams. I think he's very easy to use for every player on this game. Obviously, the 5-star weak foot mini, you can play him as a cam, you can play him as a striker. You could even play him out wide, but he doesn't really have like the top speed to be playing in a wide position personally, especially coming into now April and May period with team of the season coming up. There will be cards that are going to be cheap that will be better than him. Now, Prime Moments Dennis Bergkamp, on the other hand, 93 rated, obviously the Dutch links. But in terms of what chem style we went for, that is going to help his dribbling out a lot. It wasn't as good as Dalglish, but the ball control was, and sometimes it depends how you play. If you're playing like a target man, sometimes ball control and stuff like, you know, the glitchy dribbling is actually more of a benefit than having the ability to drag back. It really depends on what style of play you have. Overall, he had better shooting. Even when it comes to the, you know, trying to get onto a weaker side for Bergkamp, he just used his right foot because of the outside of the foot shot trait that he did have. He had better passing overall, although it was only marginal. Better positioning as well. He was just constantly doing the right things. I think he had medium work rates, whereas Dalglish has medium-high work rates. So Dalglish has high work rates. Don't know if that applies to anything or changes anything, but I felt overall that Bergkamp is more of an end game card. They're both amazing, but in my opinion, Bergkamp is the better option for most people to go with. But I feel like it's a very hard decision to go for because obviously Dalglish is the 5-star weak foot. Something I want to say is there are so many now 5-star weak foot players on the game with foot birthday just coming out. There are quite affordable options, so you can get players like Dalglish in the game, Ben Yedder for example, or any of those foot birthday players for a decent price. Whereas trying to find someone with the shooting ability and technical ability of Bergkamp is going to be very difficult. So I feel like you're getting more for your cards, more for, you know, more value by going for Bergkamp. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed my review and comparison of these two icons. If you'd like me to compare some others, let me know in the comments. It has to be players that are comparative in some way, whether they play the same position or they go for the same amount of tokens. We will be doing a video on Cannavaro and Maldini, so obviously both centre-backs, one's more expensive than the other, but we're going to find out, is it really worth going for Cannavaro when you can go for Maldini? Before the video ends, guys, please remember to drop me a like, make sure you subscribe as well. These videos take a lot longer than the typical player review that you might see on YouTube or might even see from myself, because I put all the game time in here, put in more editing time, but obviously I enjoy doing it and I enjoy seeing that it does well on the channel. If you're going to be picking anybody for around the 16 token mark, let me know in the comments which player you're going to be picking and why. And until next time, guys, I will see you later. Bye bye.